Hello and welcome to Onshape. Hopefully by now your accounts are created, and so you should have a screen like this when you log in. You won't have folders because you haven't created anything yet, but you should have this as your landing page. So we're going to create our first design, and to do that we need to come up to the big blue button up here in the top left corner that says create. We're going to click on that, go down to document, and we're going to select that. I'm going to call this rocket. Okay, and then I'm going to hit my create button. This might take a few seconds to 30 seconds or so, but eventually you'll end up with a workspace that looks like this. Now, to orient yourself, up the top along the row, we've got all our tools. We've got our sketch tool, we've got our extrude tool, our revolve. You can go through these. Each of them have a different purpose. We're only going to use a few of them. On the left hand side of the screen here, we've got our selectors, so we can select each individual plane here, and as we add parts and components, they're going to appear here as well, and we can select those. Over here, this allows us to change our view. So by clicking on a face, we can go to our front, we can spin it round, left, right, top, back. This is important because in Onshape we are working and drawing in 3 dimensions, not just the standard 2. You can also move it around with your arrow keys on your keyboard. Okay, so we're going to draw our first item today, and that is going to be the nose cone. Now I'm going to show you 2 designs for a nose cone. This will be the first one. This will be more of a pointed nose cone. So to start, I want you to click on the front. So we're working with our front view. Now to start drawing and get our drawing tools, we need to hit the sketch button up here in the top left. So go ahead and click that. Now it wants to know which plane we're going to sketch on. So we're just going to click on here because we're drawing on our front plane. Doing that, we now have all our tools for drawing now available to us. We're going to be using the line and our 3-point arc here. So I want you to click on the line, and I want you to draw. So click, pull down, draw a line. Doesn't matter how long it is right now. And then I want you to draw a second line. Doesn't matter how long it is, just nice and short, maybe like that. Click, and then I want you to turn off the line tool by clicking on it. Now we should have 1, 2 lines here. Now, because we want our Onshape to be the same measurements as our real rocket, we need to make sure that everything corresponds across. So to do that, we need to come up here to the end. Yours might be somewhere else, but look for this icon. That's our dimension tool. That allows us to make measurements and make our lines and anything else we draw the correct size for what we want. So the bottle I'm using has a diameter of 84 millimeters. Now I'm working with half of it, so this is the radius here. So if I was to have 2 lines going here, that would be 84, but so I need half of that. But we also need to factor in that if we're going to 3D print this, how thick our wall's going to be. And I'm going to make mine 2.5 mils. So I need to make this 42 millimeters plus 2.5, just so it will fit on my bottle. So I'm going to click on my line with the dimension tool and pull out. You can see a number there, 41.94. I'm going to delete that because I need 42 plus 2.5, which equals 44.5 millimeters. And then I'm going to hit enter. Now that line is exactly the right measurement for what I need. Now when we're building a nose cone, general convention is that you want the height of the nose cone to be 1 to 1.5 times your nose cone diameter. So, if my nose cone is 84 millimeters in diameter, I have that extra 5 millimeters on the end for the gap in the wall that I'm potentially going to 3D print. I'm just going to go with the 84 instead, not the 89, which gives me roughly, I'm going to make mine roughly 126 millimeters. Now yours might be different because your diameter might be different. Just calculate it by going 1.5 times your diameter. I'm going to do 126, and there we go. So we're going to have quite a big nose cone. I'm zoomed out here so we can see it. Now, to get more of a pointy nose cone, we do need to have a little bit of relief here. So I'm going to draw a short line with my line tool. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to zoom in. I don't want it to actually be too big. I'm going to draw it out. I'm going to make sure it's the right size. I'm going to make it 10%, so I'm going to make it 12.6. Okay, now we're ready to add the rounded section. So I'm going to come up here to my drawing tool, and I'm going to hit 3-point arc. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click on the top, and I'm going to click on the bottom here. Now, it doesn't matter about what it's drawn right now because I can manipulate that by moving my cursor out or in. Now, I'm just going to go for a shape that I think is going to look roughly like a nose cone. I don't want it to be too far out in the bulge because it won't have a streamlined shape. So I want it to be in line with there somehow. Roughly here looks about good for what I want to do. So I'm going to click on that. I'm not happy with that as such, so I'm going to delete that. I can do that by clicking on it here and deleting it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. The closer you're in your zoom, the more control you have of your tools. So I'm going to do that again. I just want to get this exactly the way that I want it. All right, there we go. Now it should be shaded, which means that your shape is now sealed. So how do we take this 2D sketch that we've done and turn it into a nose cone? How we do that is up in the top here, we have sketch, extrude, and revolve. So we're going to click our revolve, and what's going to happen is it's going to move our sketch all the way around and turn it into a 3-dimensional object. So I'm going to hit revolve. The face and sketch region that I want to revolve is this one here. So I'm going to click on it. Now it's asking me, what does it want me to revolve it around? So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to hit this line here. This is going to be the center point. When we click that, we should see that it is now mocked up an entire nose cone for us. So I'm going to hit green tick, and if I move it around, I can see now that my drawing is now 3-dimensional. However, it isn't hollow. It's full. Now, I want you to go to your bottom view, and we're going to now make this into a shell because we want to be able to put this on top of our rocket. So you're going to come up to here on the top, and you're going to find the shell tool. It's next to the rib. Click on the shell. Now, it's asking the faces that you want to remove. We only want to remove the bottom face. So we're going to click on that. And then we can adjust how thick we want our walls to be. I said originally that I want it to be 2.5. And there we go. Now we have a hollow nose cone that if we wanted to, we could 3D print it. Little side note here, if you want to change the color of it, you've got all your colors here. So you can get to that by going to part 1, double clicking on it, or right clicking, edit appearance, and we got that there. So you can pick whatever color you want. You can make it red, make it brown. I'm going to make mine teal. So hit green tick, and there we go. That is how you build a pointed nose cone. I'm going to do another video where I show you how to make a more parabolic one, and you can decide which one you want for your rocket. And maybe later in the term, maybe when we're coming up to our second launch, we can look at 3D printing the cone that you have designed. All right, I hope that was helpful. Thank you, everyone.